Welcome back, parade watchers. And it's time for a new history video. Today we'll be looking into another classic cartoon character balloon dating back during the time when he was so beloved. From the pride of Minnesota, J. Ward's Bullwinkle J. Moose, and a little later, his pal Rocky the Flying Squirrel, in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Bullwinkle made his Macy's Parade debut in 1961, as he was wearing his bathing suit on Thanksgiving Day. It seems weird at first, but he's not the only one to wear a bathing suit in the parade. He is 65 feet tall and 35 feet wide, with a total of 317 pounds, and 8,200 cubic feet of helium. One of the bigger balloons during the Manfred Bay Goodyear era. And as always, like any other balloon, there have been some accidents he had in 1964, 1971, 1976, and 1982. As for Bullwinkle's televised appearances on NBC, a lot of the pre-1980 broadcasts are considered pieces of long media from NBC. The only broadcast footages I will start is 1981 and 1983. After 1983, they decided to retire Bullwinkle due to the balloon's aging, since it has been flying for over 23 years. Heck, even the balloon was sitting in front of the White House for some celebration. I don't know in what year. After that, Bullwinkle was never seen again.
Great news, Bullwinkle's making a return for this year's special parade. Oh boy, I like him. Anyway.
In 1996, Bullwinkle was brought back as an all-new balloon, gliding down Broadway wearing his Wossamotta U sweatshirt, and joining him with his pal, Rocky the Flying Squirrel, with Universal Studios Consumer Products Group as their sponsor.
Anyway, no wonder. Did you ever notice what a balloon like Bullwinkle looks like days before the parade? How he gets to be 475 pounds, 68 foot of lovable lug. You just watch your video right now. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Bullwinkle.
Do not step on the balloon, please. Unroll it all the way to the end of the tarp. Okay. Or until the balloon stops, whichever comes first. Got sets of inflation orders for this, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Jay, you ready? Okay, open it up. There you go. There's a separate balloon that attaches right to the top of his head. It's a beanie propeller. Got a 12-volt battery that tucks into a blind pouch in the balloon. This is the first year that we've ever had a balloon that automatically animated. So down the route, this propeller is going to be spinning around on his head. The propeller goes up first, the antlers, then Bullwinkle's head, the arms and hands, then Rocky's body and head, Rocky's tail, the parachute, Bullwinkle's body, then his waist and hips, and his legs and feet. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Take rubber band. Always put two. Always got to make sure you're covered if one of them breaks. And you're golden.
That'll give you some idea of the enormous work that goes into putting on this yearly Macy Spectacular.
Not also this was the comeback for Bullwinkle, but he was also named Macy's Holiday Ambassador of 1996.
All right, Bo. Hey, Willard.
Yes, ma'am.
You see what I see?
You got it. It's a bird. It's a plane. Now, wait a minute. Would you believe a spinning propeller beanie cap? It's perched between the antlers of the beloved Bullwinkle J. And what a thrill it is to welcome him back to our parade. And for the first time ever, with his pal Rocky the Flying Squirrel. Now that's what I call a dynamic duo.
And famous too, Willard. J. Ward's Rocky and Bullwinkle are provided by Universal Studios Consumer Products Group. At 68 feet in length, Willard, even his arch enemies Boris and Natasha would be impressed with this Bullwinkle.
Get that squirrel off my back, kitty. Bullwinkle has been called the finest example of the North American quad. As Rocky says, Bullwinkle has more brains in his little finger than he has in his whole head. Think about that, friends. Here's the fun part.
Next, the Lawrence brothers, Joey, Matthew, and Andy, plus everybody's favorite feline, Garfield the cat, when our parade continues here on NBC.
After 1996, they kind of disappeared for the next 2 years until 1999, when Universal Studios brought them back to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, and to promote the live-action animated hybrid movie, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, set to be released in the summer of 2000. Another thing that Macy's had to do with the balloon was to add more balloon handlers and 2 utility vehicles to help control. Since the previous year started the new change to the balloons on their size limits for safety concerns. And Rocky and Bullwinkle were still eligible to fly, based on the size of the balloon.
The second time in Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, J. Ward's Bullwinkle gives a moosey back ride to his flying friend Rocket J. Squirrel as they celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, and they're furnished by Universal Studios, and they are classics.
Moosey back ride.
Like it?
Yeah. And next summer, Bullwinkle will make his silver screen debut in the live-action animated motion picture, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Our dynamic duo will definitely need some handlers if they're going Hollywood. Right now, they've got 50. In fact, there are 1,000 Macy's employees just handling the balloons in today's parade.
You know where Bullwinkle went to college, don't you?
Oh, yeah, Wossamotta U.
Exactly. They're proud of him there. I think his pal Rocky said it best. Bullwinkle has more brains in his little finger than he has in his whole head.
And hear Waukesha, Wisconsin's North Star Band as they march south on Broadway with Alexander and...
In 2000, they were brought back to promote the home media release of The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. However, Rocky somehow ended up being deflated during preparation. Since it was a cold parade that year, so Bullwinkle only appeared throughout the entire parade route.
A true patriot and not know this guy? I think not. Flying down Broadway on an antler and a prayer, more daring than Siegfried and Roy, funnier than McNeil Laird. You knew they were funnier? Yes, folks, it's the pride of Frostbite Falls, Minnesota Bullwinkle J Moose, furnished by Universal Studios.
Even his arch enemies, Boris and Natasha, have to be impressed with this guy. He is taller, Al, than 2 telephone poles.
That's tall. Once again this year, the Mighty Moose's sweatshirt proudly displays his alma mater, Wossamotta U. But lest we forget, guys, this nut happens to be a graduate of MIT. You know MIT.
Yeah.
The Moose Institute of Toe Dancing.
And by the way, to those who think he's just a doofy old moose, Bullwinkle points out he's the finest example of the great North American clod.
Bullwinkle rounds the corner, blanketing Broadway in red, white.
After the 2000 parade, the Rocky and Bullwinkle balloon was retired after only making the mandatory appearance of 3. However, this was not the end for the balloon. A year later in 2001, a special Macy's parade exhibit at Universal Studios Orlando, during the holiday season, featured some of the Macy's balloons past and present. And Rocky and Bullwinkle were there along with Barney, Wild Thing, Jimmy Neutron, Pikachu, Cassie, and the head of Woody Woodpecker. Paul Frank's Julius, Skylanders Eruptor, Mr. Monopoly, and next, the Kraft Macaroni and Cheese mascot Cheezosaurus Rex. Hit that notification bell for more on Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.